Frank Caliendo joining us from his basement. Is that where you are, Frank?
No, I'm in my office.
Oh, nice. Do you have a basement?
We do. Rarely do people have a basement in Arizona, but we have one. So that's what you do when you're elite and have the ability to go underground.
Yeah. Oh, it's good to see you. Now, Frank Caliendo is
I don't even know them.
Yeah, this week is on the road. Actually, with Willie G, it'll be Davenport, Iowa, at the Rhythm City Casino Resort coming up this Thursday evening. And then this weekend, a rare club appearance, a bunch of them, at the Milwaukee Improv coming up on Friday and Saturday. And then around the corner, it's Harris, Michigan at the Island Casino, December 6th and 7th. Does that sound good? Oh, and there's one more, I think. BYU, Rexburg, Idaho on October 12th. That's just been added?
Oh. Yeah. That's that. It's always interesting when you do anything for BYU. There's a lot of stipulations stuff. I was like, listen, I'm clean. I'm not offensive in any way unless you really try hard to make me offensive. And they were like, oh no, it's going to be great. It'll be fantastic. You just can't bring Willie G on this one. So, no. That's the greatest non-laugh from Tom. That's a laugh.
No, I'm not laughing. I can see why. Now, Frank, what's the latest? We talked to you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I was there. And the day after I was in with you, it turned out they cast Nicolas Cage in a John Madden movie, and I got a text from you, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
It was. People think I'm really upset about that. I never thought they would cast me in something like that. I remember being upset when I was younger, and they were doing a Robin Williams movie, and I didn't even get an audition for that. And, Robin Williams at the time was, oh, my goodness, what an amazing one. They're like, can you do the serious version? I'm like, of course I can. I'm doing it right now. I'm growing a beard, winning an Academy Award. That's what we're doing. I think it was just because I was too fat. I think that's why they're like, we can't have South Park Robin Williams. So but it was that kind of stuff used to get to me. But then I did a social media post, which I have to be careful because people take things so seriously. I was like trying to figure out the way to set it up, and I set it up as, here are the actors I think would be great playing John Madden. And what I really wanted to say was, here are all the actors that I think would be way better than me playing John Madden in a movie. But if I did that, then people were like, you're so bitter and stuff like that. And Nicolas Cage got it, of course, which to me, or got it, or they offered him, or whatever it is. But it was originally going to be Will Ferrell, I believe. But then the Nicolas Cage, all I could see was him going, boom. So then some of the other stuff was I was doing was Leonardo DiCaprio, and just taken from Wolf of Wall Street.
5 years ago, when I first started using the telestrator, I knew it was going to be one of the greatest inventions of all time.
Those type of things. Or Brett Favre has a very particular set of skills. Skills that make him a nightmare for people like you. Those types of things. I'm trying to think of some of the other. Did you touch my turducken? Did you touch my turducken? So,
do you think that they'll try to? Will Nick Cage try to do the voice?
I haven't talked to him yet.
I can't imagine he'll be able to do that.
I bet he's pretty. I mean, he's a talented guy. I mean, there's got to be something to it. Hey folks, John Madden here. You are amazing.
Did you ever do James Earl Jones?
I did. I a little bit of Darth Vader when you get real close to the microphone and do that type of thing. Come to the dark side. That type of stuff. But I never really. I never really did one in my act at all, because it was so hard to get that deep of a voice without any kind of. He's got a very smooth voice, so to get that voice is very difficult for me, as opposed to like a Morgan Freeman, which is that rumble in there, that bristliness. So those are very different. And I remember seeing Daryl Hammond do a great James Earl Jones. And it's always, whenever somebody does it, they always get right up to the microphone and I am your father, way up there.
Yeah, I was just reading that he has licensed the use of his voice, I guess, in perpetuity to the Star Wars people.
Oh, really?
So they had his permission to use AI and use old audio tracks they have of him to continue that voice if they want to keep using it.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's probably a way to set up your family. For the rest of it, in perpetuity itself. So I would say, there's dangers in the AI stuff, but when people have, the permission, and you do want to do that, it can be really a great tool. It's just our people, and I don't believe this to be the situation, but our people getting strong-armed into that type of situation. I've had friends, and maybe it's happened to me, I just haven't looked, but I've had friends that have done voiceovers and stuff like that they've AI'd fixes on their voices. Like, I didn't say that, and so it's a weird kind of thing. But that is an amazing thing. You could really set your family can make money forever in that kind of.
Now, have you ever been asked? You don't have to give a name. Have you ever been asked to step in and loop some famous actor's scene that they couldn't get him to come back in and do it?
No. I mean, I don't do much of that. I have quite a few friends that do a lot of that. Josh Robert Thompson, Joe Gaudette, some of the. Quite a few people, Ross Marquand, lots of Piotr Michael. There's so many people that do a great job at that. I've never been in the voiceover, the true voice acting world. I've done little bits of stuff here and there, but it was never my focus either. But there's so many people that are so good at it. I haven't had any people. The one thing, and I probably told you the story before, was they wanted me to sing as John Madden for a Christmas commercial. There was John Madden, and he was supposed to be singing "Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire," that kind of thing. And I was like, he doesn't at the time, and maybe he still didn't, but after that, but he didn't like me at all. And I'm like, you're not going to use this because he won't want it used. I'm like, so I made them pay me for the audition, and I did it, and they're like, this is incredible, and then they never used it.
Yeah.
Oh, but you and Mr. Madden did meet, and everything went okay, as I recall.
Yeah, I mean, I think once he got that I was just a goofball and just wasn't doing it to try and bring him down. People get worried about that kind. Anybody who does commercials, that's usually a big thing where they're worried that it's going to hurt their brand. I don't think it does. It actually gives people a way to write better. I remember John Gruden texting me one time. He's like, I just got done doing a commercial where they had me doing an impersonation of you. I was like, what does that even mean? And then I saw, like 2 weeks later, I saw him talking to a tire. I'll tell you what, man, get out there and get rolling, man. I was like, oh.
Talking to a tire.
Yeah. Have you seen Gruden do cameos? I mean, he does cameos for people. It's the funniest thing in the world because he's so serious about it. So he goes out there, and they want him to do their fantasy football teams, and he'll be like, listen, I just got a message from Dave. He says he wants, well, first of all, I've just been watching some video of Walter Payton busting through the line here, and he's busting through the line like you're busting through the 50-year-old mark, man. Happy birthday. Half a century old. Spider 2Y banana cream pie for everybody, man.
Our guest is comedian Frank Caliendo. Frank on the road. The Rhythm City Casino Resort coming up this Thursday with Willie G. And then Willie and Frank and your old stomping grounds at the Milwaukee Improv coming up, as I said, Friday and Saturday. Those are going to be some great shows. Are you going to be experimenting since you're in a club situation? Does this give you an opportunity to let loose a little bit?
Yeah, I like that a lot more. I shouldn't say a lot more. It's a different kind of situation because of the proximity of people and just being able to goof around and go in and out of stuff a lot more. It's closer to like how I am in an interview or radio than it is a theater show. I always feel like when people are in the theater, it feels like it needs to be a more streamlined show as opposed to the club where it feels looser and goofier, and I just have a different kind of situation there.
When I know you do a lot of corporate events. Do they come up to you and say, "Hey, look, the CEO's here. Can you make fun of
on the phone call.
make fun of his wife as
and that's
some
the
character.
kind of stuff they ask for. And I'm like, are you telling him about that? No, we want you to surprise him. Oh, that's a great idea. Why don't you run it by the CEO first, and maybe the CEO's wife or husband. Maybe do that, and then they'll call back and be like, you know what, you were right. Yeah, they really didn't want us to do that. I'm like, you're welcome. I'll take 10%.
Once again, we're speaking with Frank Caliendo. Who's the most recent addition to the array of voices that you do?
I'm trying to think of. The Leonardo DiCaprio is a newer one. It just depends. I'm trying to think if there was somebody that I've been recently working on. There's so many that aren't good. And that I don't know. You always ask me that question, and usually I lie about something. So,
well, maybe there's something that's kind of half baked. It's in progress. It's not really done, and we can be the judge. We can.
Well, there's lots of those.
Honest judge for you.
There's The Rock, always working on The Rock. Kevin Hart with DraftKings, those kinds of things.
See, I like that already.
That's what I'm talking about. Make it happen. Make it happen. Yeah, way down here.
There's lots of those. John Malkovich is a newer one. Just never deviating from the same tone.
That's just dead on.
It's maybe doing John Malkovich as John Madden. Oh, hey folks, John Madden here.
Oh, that's so. How do you do that?
There's a little bit of Max Wright in there as well.
From Alf?
Lynn, Brian, Lucky. I'm the dad from Alf. Hey, Willie. Hey, Willie. Alf, please don't eat our cat. But the Ogmonics said it would be okay.
That's Frank Caliendo, ladies and gentlemen. I just love that. Now, let's see. So I'm trying to think.
Do you want some other topical ones other than Alf? You want to do this?
No. I was trying to think.
How's my Spiro Agnew? You want to hear that? Hey!
For a while there, you were doing a lot of sports stuff, and now you've been able to kind of get away from just doing that when you were doing all those.
Yeah. It's always in and out because people come to see me. They want to hear the Tony Romo. Oh, Jim. Jim, I'm smiling through my Skechers right now. This is so amazing. He does that thing where he starts a reference and he doesn't know what the reference is. He's going so fast. He's like a car that goes 0 to 60 really, really fast. What kind of car would that be, Tony? Oh, I don't know, Jeff. Go to commercial.
Are there new emerging sports voices?
Oh, I'm sure there are.
You'll have Brady maybe to mess around with pretty soon.
People have been asking me about Brady. Here's my analysis on Tom Brady. He does not have, and maybe I didn't hear you guys if you talked about it all. He does not have a lot of fullness to his voice, and it's a higher voice. I think that makes him a little, and Joey, my son, actually had one of the best observations I've heard. He sounded like pre-recordings in a video game a lot of the time. Like they were kind of generic statements that he almost had planned to get in there. Like he almost overstudied like he would for football to have everything so planned out that they would just fit in, put A here, B here, C there, and fill things in. But that his voice, I think there is something to it. But he is way up in that. I was becoming John Malkovich again would actually be the Russian John Malkovich. What is this you're doing here?
Is this in rounders? That's the one we're doing now.
Don't splash the pot.
Don't splash the pot. Yes. Which it's funny because John Malkovich becomes Leonardo DiCaprio so simply.
What were you talking about? I don't remember.
You were talking about Brady and his. Obviously, he just did his first game, so everyone's jumping all over him.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a little while to. I do think his voice is difficult because there's not, like I said, there's not a lot of fullness to his voice. If I were working with him, got a voice coach for him, I would say do that Matthew McConaughey thing. Have you seen that McConaughey does it in Wolf of Wall Street? He's like,
oh yeah, he beats his chest. Yeah,
but it's something he actually does as an actor.
Yeah, because then it happens with me. I get excited and I start going to the higher pitch. You got to bring it down. Your voice is, there's so much of a range in everybody's voice that Tom Brady could bring it down and you just have to keep that in your chest the entire time. And it's more palatable for a lot of people. I had trouble with like higher voices unless they have, although Sean McVay's way up there, but he's interesting because he's similar and I remember everything going back to 1985 and I'm not even sure if I was born yet.
Would you like to see Dennis Miller come back to?
That's excited Dennis Miller.
Yeah.
Josh. That's like Gagnon and Khashoggi living in his basement.
A great reference.
That's great.
What's the McConaughey thing? I'm not following you there.
He does this chest beating and like this kind of chanting thing.
Yeah, you kind of had to see Wolf of Wall Street.
And then he actually did it as in the character, but it's something he does in real life.
Yeah, so you relax your voice.
Like
when you get
centers him.
excited, your voice becomes higher pitched. So to keep yourself relaxed, it's almost like a Zen type of thing. Where it's like,
oh, I get it.
Oh, yeah. So you stay in that deeper register, as opposed to getting up here and you because when you do go on TV and I do it on the air all the time. I'm doing it now. I'm just listening to myself. My voice is 2 octaves higher than what it would be if I were just talking to you. If I was talking to my son Joey, who does that vocal fry yeah, Dad, that sounds great. My dad is basically Bill Belichick, but he's like, how's it going? How was school today? It was great.
Now, does your wife have a favorite thing that you do?
Nothing.
I'm in the realm of voices, not in the realm of life.
Nothing. There's zero appreciation.
She doesn't. You're not at some kind of party, and she goes, "Oh, let me go get Frank. He'll do his Dennis Miller for you. You'll love it."
No, she knows. My wife is the social one, so she's the one who takes over at parties and makes me seem palatable. I've used palatable twice in this.
Very impressive.
Which has never been done before by me. No, not really. I know I'm trying to, I should have gone, I should have yes-anded you and just made something up. I realized that.
Was there ever a moment early on in your dating that the voices came in handy in the bedroom?
Oh, yeah, all the time, Tom.
What a great question.
Well, this is the one he can't do when he's at BYU.
Do me like Robert Downey Jr.
Do John Malkovich passing the potatoes. These potatoes are au gratin, not rotten. You love them.
For once again, Frank Caliendo. Thanks, Frank. It's always a great pleasure. And you can find out all about Frank. Lots of stuff on his website. And you can see him live and in person in Davenport, Iowa at the Rhythm City Casino Resort coming up this Thursday with Willie G. Friday and Saturday at the Milwaukee Improv. Those are going to be great shows. Are you doing 2 each night?
Yes, like a real club comedian. I'm doing like a real comedian.
And Frank is the man when it comes to great corporate gigs, by the way. There is nobody better. And he will not congratulate your boss's wife without asking first, as John Madden or whoever. All right. Thanks, Frank.
Hey, I want to say a shout out to Willie G. Thank you, Willie, for letting me close for you on the road a whole bunch of times.
All right. Thanks, Frank.